Shalom, my dear friends, and welcome to Parshat Re'eh. You know, everybody has to have words that you love. One of those words to me is Re'eh, to see. You know, Gemara has so much discussions, and it begins the discussions by saying, come and hear. Because you need to hear this point of view, that point of view. There are very convergent point of views in Gemara that they come together, and sometimes, not always, there's a conclusion that this is the right path. And sometimes there are different opinions, and you don't come to really see what the absolute truth is. However, in Zohar, in study of Kabbalah, it begins the conversation by saying, come and see. Because, you know, on the surface, there is a lot of misunderstanding. And you don't know whether this is true, that is true. There's many competing arguments. But when you get to the depth of it, to the center of it, there's no more argument. You see that very clearly. Everything is gone away. It's like when Yosef meets his brother and he reveals his true identity. He says, Ani Yosef. And at that time, there is no more discussions. There is no more, I didn't want to do this, who you are, whatever. It's all clear. Ani Yosef. And they know what they did to him. And everything is clear. So Re'eh, so they saw Yosef. Here it says to see. Another reason I love the word Re'eh is because you and I fail so many times in our life to see what Hashem has placed in front of us. Remember in the parasha that Abraham sent his wife Hagar and Ishmael away, and when Ishmael is dying in the desert and there is no water for them to drink, she cries. And it says Hashem opened her eyes and she saw that there was actually a creek right next to them, and she didn't see that because she was so desperate. So seeing everything is really determined how amazing what everyone is. So many times we fail to see around us, and that's what our failure is. And Re'eh, to see, is great word. So the parasha begins to come, see that I have put blessing and curse in front of you, and you have a choice. You have ability to choose the blessings. And it's actually the question that we posed last week, Parshat Re'eh also, it says, your life is because of what you do that you shape and form your life. So the question which I proposed last week is that Baruch Spinoza started philosophy in a big level to say that no, we don't have choices. Our choices is made by the events around us and the way we've been brought up. And then Einstein believed in that theory, and then Sigmund Freud, he said, everyone that I saw follow this thing, that people don't make their own choices. And so we see in Torah, it clearly says that yes, you can make choices. So is there any common ground between these two ideologies? On the surface, there is not. But if you look deeper, you see, wow, what Torah is saying is really amazing wisdom. It says, yes, I have put blessing and curse in front of you, and it's talking to all the people. It's saying, you know, the way you are, the way you have been brought up, if you look around you, because of the circumstances that you are in it, there is both blessing and curse. And it says, you know, overall, this is how people make a decision. But when it says you have a right to make your own choices, it talks to you singularly. Wow, that has to be one of the greatest secrets of all time. What Hashem is saying is that, look, I understand. Many people don't have choices. They are driven by their bringing, their nurture and nature, and therefore they don't have much choices. But you as an individual can get up at any time and break the system, and you say you can. Hashem is saying in a singular word, he says not everyone is capable of listening and understanding what I'm telling you. You have the right and the power to get up and change history at any given time. That's a very inspiring, very, very inspiring message. And then when we go through the rest of the parasha, what is it that we need to make choices? You and I have choices all day long to make. So the number one question is, stop. Every time you make a choice, I have to say, is it really my choice? Have I considered everything, and am I making my own choice, not the choice that is pushed through my throat? So when we see in this week parasha, it's the one biggest theme that is this week parasha, last week parasha, the parasha before that. Torah keeps saying that do not do idol worshiping. And it says when you go to the land of Israel and you capture the shrine that they have made for their gods, destroy them and make sure do not worship me in any way that they worship their gods. Because one of the things they did is that they sacrificed their kids. But that's not the only thing. And is not that Torah talked to them on that time, and in our generation we don't have the idols. We do have the idols. And I'm going to tell you how we are worshiping that idols that Torah is talking about. Don't worship. And they're very, very powerful and sophisticated. So what is wrong with worshiping idol? Idol is a god, imaginary god that you create. And for every given situation, you have a different god. And many tribes, many countries had many, many different gods for everything. Of course, one common ground between everybody had fertility god and a rain god. These was the two most famous gods. So when you need to have children, you pray to this god. And when you want to have rain, you pray to this god. But if you want something else, you go to someone else. And you know what that is? That is creating a god based on your situation, based on your need. So you're not building a relationship with this god. You are asking this god to give you something, and once you want, you go away. And that is a mentality which is very prevalent these days. You know, it used to be that people get married and have children. Now with very open society and anybody can be with anyone else, then there is no need to choose one person and to say, I want to build a life with you. Wow. Just think about this. Think about how powerful this ideology is that there is no affinity anymore. And the God in Torah is a God of affinity. There is only one God. It was revolutionary for Torah to come and to say there is one God. And everything comes from one God, and there is oneness, and we have closeness and relationship with this God. So now, because the society is open, and people don't feel like building a family and being with one person to share their life with, this ideology of ideal worshiping is that we don't have one God, we just have open society. We have open society. Every time we need, we have a desire to need something, we just create one idol, we worship that. When we don't want it, we put it aside and go to another idol. There is a lot more to be discussed. My 10 minutes coming up. I try to stay within 10 minutes every week. So to summarize everything we said is that yes, for masses, they don't really have choices, but you and I, at any moment we can stand out and to say, this is my life, I'm going to make the choices, the way to have all the bracha in my life. B'ezrat Hashem, Shabbat Shalom.